Hello and welcome. It's Bio here. So today I'm gonna bring you some more Cheaternite, aka Fortnite. Um, so to start off with, I uploaded a video the other day that has a cheater in it, and it's a legitimate cheater. I mean, it's just obvious. I would suggest if you guys want to check out that whole video. Uh, I don't know if I should. I'll either put it in the comments of this one or let me check something here. Hang on. Let me do that real quick, actually. Um, so what I'm gonna do is let me copy it here. Okay, there we go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm thinking I'll just put it in the comment section. But actually, I might want to. Yeah, let me shove it in there real quick. Okay, so it's in there now. So for anybody that does come in um, during the live stream, it's in there. Let me see if is there any way that I can. Well, anyways, so after this live stream, I'll put it in the comments again just in case it's not in there. But I may or may not be able to change the description of it. So it may be in the description, but I think I'll put it in the comments as long as it lets me after the live stream. But during a live stream, it lets me. But I don't think after the live stream is over, it like saves any of the comments that were actually there. So it kind of sucks, but um, that's okay. Anyways, we are going to go ahead and get into it. Now, just so you guys are aware, oh wow, yeah. So, I did get last season, and I got this season, and the reason why, because I know I've actually stated before that I'm just not going to spend money on it, but I'm a really big fan of Back to the Future, so yeah, kind of hard to you know pass that one up. And then I do have Homer Simpson, but that's only because I am technically sort of old school, so for me it's like that's something that you know that show's been going on for so many years. It's not even funny. Um. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get into it. I don't think there's anything else at the moment, other than the fact that Epic Games refuses to do anything about cheaters. Um, even that video I put in the comments right there, and it even shows they clearly aren't doing anything because every single day that they don't do anything, I am going to put in a comment on that video. They still have not done anything yet about this cheater. Now, I want to show you how you could tell when they actually do something about cheaters. So if you actually try to talk to them, like email them or anything, they'll try to say, stuff, things like, we don't, disclose any information of what happened to them, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm not asking for their freaking email address, home address, and phone number, okay? I'm not asking for that. I just want to know that something's been done about the freaking cheater, right? So anytime they actually do something, and this is from years of experience and years of playing this game, and every single time they've ever done anything about a cheater, they always put it on your screen when you turn on the game, like right here at the lobby. They always put it on there with like these two characters or whatever, and it says suspect apprehended, so and so and so and so and so. You can actually Google it and look it up, and you can see images of it. Um, you know what I mean? Just to kind of show you, like, hey, look, see, he's not full of crap. You know what I mean? But the thing is I've actually the reason why I know it actually states all that is because they used to do something about cheating, right? They used to. Keyword used to. Okay? So, you know, but they don't no more. I mean, they just don't. They and here's something else that's screwed up. So I actually emailed Epic Games. I sent them my video, the actual YouTube video. I sent that to them. I explained to them that I am going to go on here every single day, and every single day that they do not do anything about that cheater, I am going on here on my YouTube channel every single day, and I am posting in the comments, they still have not done anything. Because what I do before I even post that, I always get on Fortnite just to check first to see if they have done anything. Okay? So, that's the thing about that, right? So, you know, until they actually do something, it is going to be posted every single day that they haven't. Until they do. But, you know, the only problem is how long is that going to be? Because you can see the video. You can clearly tell that that person is cheating all day long. There is no mistaking that. I mean, you can watch the whole video, okay? And I guarantee you, you'll be like, there's no way that person is not cheating. No way. Like, they are cheating 100% to a T. All you have to do is just watch that whole video. It's not real long. Just watch the whole video. You'll see what I'm talking about and everything. And you'll understand, like, dude, this guy is straight cheating. Don't know if it's a guy, don't know if it's a girl, don't really care. You know, it does not matter to me whether it's a dude or a chick. Cheating is cheating. I don't care who you are. Plain and simple. If you know how to cheat and you're sitting there personally cheating, just pointing out the obvious, but yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, my thing is, though, is the fact that it's like, they still haven't done anything. It's like, are you freaking serious right now? Bot. Excuse me, thank you for looking it up for me. Oh, look at there. Now, you know, a lot of people, I don't know if you guys have noticed this yet, but a lot of people may be like, oh, there's a bunch of bots in you guys' lobby. Okay, let me explain to you how that works. So, if you don't get on for a while, okay? The first game, like, let's say you don't get on for like a day or two. Or, you know, and I mean like, you know, like I was on yesterday. Okay, well, every day you get on, the first match or two, you're going to find bots in it. And I've noticed that they've done that, and I'm not totally sure exactly. Maybe it's because they want people to have a better chance of warming up, you know? Maybe that's what it comes down to, but I mean, once you get through the match or two, then it's just essentially just, oh my gosh, like, dude, you can't. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's insane. It really is. Because, like, you just ain't got much of a choice when it comes to dealing with cheaters on this game. Because Epic doesn't do it. And I told Epic, now I straight told Epic Games, it's like, dude, if you guys cannot handle the cheaters, you cannot handle it, then you should shut the game down. They wouldn't be the first company to ever do that. There are plenty of other companies that have done that. There was even some of them recently, as like within the last probably a couple of years or something like that, that did that. Where, and I think one of them was like a PC game, and they actually shut it down because they could not handle the cheaters. There were so many of them that they couldn't handle them, so they shut the game down. And then, you know, that's one reason, you know, that's, I don't know, I guess that's one of the reasons why it's like I try not to get any online games unless they're free. Like, who wants to deal with a bunch of cheaters? What fair player wants to deal with a bunch of cheaters? I mean, think about that. what fair player is like, you know what, I want to get on this game today because I know it has a bunch of cheaters, and that's what I want to fight against. I only get on here to either play with my friends or to basically stream it and show you guys that, you know, like, look, they don't do nothing about cheating. This is, and I even explained to them, this is exactly why there's more and more cheaters. Because, you know, if you're not doing anything, people tend to pick that up and they start cheating. I thought it was crazy when they decided, we're going to unban almost all cheaters. Not even that long ago. It's like, are you crazy right now? This is your idea. Let's unban almost all the cheaters. Let's give them all second chance. Like, they didn't have second chances to begin with? Come on. Are you freaking serious? Like, I'm pretty sure they had chances. Because I'm pretty sure that, you know, I guess you could say, you know, well, here's the thing, right? So, to get permanently banned like that, you really have to be, you know, cheating in a way where it's, like, really bad. You know what I mean? Or, you have to be banned a certain amount of times. So, like, the first time is, like, 7-day ban. The second time is, like, a 14-day ban. Third time is, like, a 30-day ban. Then, like, the fourth time is, like, a freaking, you know, 90-day ban. And after that, it's permanent. It's that kind of deal. So it's like, you clearly giving them a second chance. More than one. They've had more than 1 second chance. So when they sit there and come up with this whole excuse, well, we're going to unban almost all cheaters. We're going to call it like the, you know, they called it like the second chance or something. And it's like, seriously. You think that makes sense? They didn't get banned how many times? You don't think they should have learned their lesson at that point? After being banned, you know, a certain amount of times already? I mean, I'm just saying, but that don't seem a little weird to nobody? The fact that they've already been banned multiple times? And Epic's like, we're going to give them a second chance? Like, that... Wait a minute. Weren't they already banned multiple times? That's why they're permanently banned? Or they were cheating so bad? Bad enough to the point that you just said, permaban. I mean, I'm just saying, but it's obviously not just, you know, one of those legitimate, like, oh yeah, it's a second chance thing. I mean, that's just obvious. Like, you don't get banned multiple times. And then, oh yeah, here, we're going to give you a second chance. After multiple bans? Not one ban, but multiple bans. For cheating. And you think that makes sense? Really? Okay then. And not only that, but last time I checked, because, you know, there are actually, you know, some teenagers that'll be cheating too. But last time I checked, when you start up Fortnite, it gives you this thing that you have to accept, which is like the terms and agreements and all that different crap. It literally states that if you are not 18, you have to have a parent go through it with you. Literally. So if the parent's not doing that, and the kid's cheating, well, just saying, but at that point, though, even kids know you're not supposed to cheat on these games. So, you know, my thing is, it's like, we all know that when you're playing an online game, like Fortnite, Call of Duty or something, you are not allowed to cheat. We all know that. So they're already aware of it. That's my point. Everybody's already aware that you're not allowed to cheat, and if you do, because here's the thing, right? So they sit there and they tell you, even in the freaking like fine print and all this, that, and the other. So when you actually read through everything, all the agreements and everything, they even tell you that if you're caught cheating, they could ban you, and if you keep doing it, and if you keep finding ways to get back on and still, you know, cheat and this, that, and the other, or even if you don't cheat, after you get permanently banned for cheating, if you still find another way to get back on, they literally put in there that they could take you to court. So, to me, it's like, wait a minute, so you have all these rules. There's so many people that don't follow them, and you're not going to enforce any of it, and you wonder why there's more and more cheaters. Think about that for a second. Ow. Might be a real person. Good grief. Oh, yeah, he's getting shot at. Okay. Hi, buddy. I need to get over this way more. Get into the circle. Whoopsie. Let's see if that truck is still over here. That'd be awesome. Crap. See ya. No, I'm not gonna be sitting there with frickin' 3 or 4 people trying to shoot at me now. Come on. I'm tired of that crap. Ow, that hurt. Turd. And, you know, some of these bots have gotten so good that you can't even hardly tell if it's a real player or not sometimes. Because they build more, they fight more, I don't know, there's just more of everything, really. It's like, whoa, hang on. Like, you can't even tell sometimes. Climb. Thank you. Now, just a heads up, I am actually doing 120 FPS. It's not just, you know, one of those things where it's like, because I know some people, like with the, like we have this TV, right, where it's like, we can put it on like, it's a 4K TV, but we can put it on 1080p and it'll do 120 hertz and do 120 FPS, but the only problem with it is when you have a TV or something that's not actually a 120 hertz panel, then essentially what happens is it's still a 60 hertz panel. So even if you can do what we can do on that TV, where we can put it at 1080p into 120, the thing about it is you won't see 120. The panel can only see up to 60. So when it can only see up to 60, then you're not going to actually get 120. That's what and I actually had to explain that to some of my friends because they thought, oh, heck yeah, I could do 120. Like, no, you only have a 60 hertz panel. It's not going to work. You're only going to be able to see up to 60. Now, the panel that I'm on right now I mean, I'm on a monitor, but the panel that I'm on right now sees up to 165 on a display port and 144 on HDMI. So 144 is obviously more than 120, so I can actually do 120 and see 120. And, you know, for anybody out there that does want to get a monitor for like PS5 or Series X or something, I would suggest getting something at least a minimum of 144 hertz. I'll tell you why. The main reason is because, as you can see, where the FPS is going 120, 119, 120, 119, sometimes it'll also go to like 121. Now, let's say you get a monitor that doesn't actually do anything more than 120, it's going to look about like it does on a 60 hertz screen. So if you play certain games that have screen tearing, as an example, the problem is when you do that, when you play on a screen like the 60 hertz and you're doing a 60 FPS game and it goes up to like 61, you'll see a screen tear, right? But on a monitor that, or a TV or a monitor that sees past 60 hertz, so let's say a 75 hertz monitor as an example, you may not see that screen tear because technically that monitor can see up to 75 hertz. So essentially it can go up to 61 and you may not see that screen tear at all. Well, it's sort of the same way with if you go out and get like a native 120 hertz monitor, right? You get like a 120 hertz monitor, 120 hertz TV or something. Okay. Now let's say you do that. You're doing 120. What the heck? You're doing 120 hertz, and you're doing 120 FPS, right? Well, when you do 120 FPS, it only sees up to 120. So if it goes to 121, it's probably going to screen tear, right? So that's my whole point with getting something that is actually higher than what it is, because at least then you may not see the screen tears. So, you know, obviously with PS5, you have to have HDMI 2.1 to use VRR. But there's a good thing about that and a bad thing about that. Good thing is you can buy a TV that does have VRR that will work. It won't cost you a ton of money. Wow, dude, how? Did anybody not see bullets go through the freaking hill right there? I mean, I could see, you know, going around it a little bit, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, so you can buy like a Vizio TV. They sell them at like Walmart. You can get like the $140 one. You can get the $130, the 40 or 43-inch ones. And they have VRR, and it is HDMI 2.1 compatible, so it does actually allow you to use VRR on a PS5. But the only thing is it's only going to be 48 to 60 hertz instead of 48 to like 120. So, yeah, that's sort of the only downside to it. But it's not really a downside if you don't care about doing 120. And, I mean, there's a lot of games that do 60, pretty much anyways. I mean, most games that do 120, I mean, there's a lot of them that do, but there's a lot of them that don't, you know? So I guess it really depends on what all games that you actually play, and if you really want the VRR to it or not. But there are actually some games, believe it or not, like, I think as an example, God of War, no, it's not God of War, it's, oh, it's not that one, it's one of the other games where I had one that did it, but I think the Last of Us Part 1 and 2 might be set up this way, where you can do like 120, but the only problem is VRR has to be turned on or you can't do it, which I think is about stupid. Not sure why they have them set up that way because it's like, I mean, look, if you're on a monitor or something that sees obviously past 120, if there's any screen tearing, it's going to be a lot harder to notice, or it's virtually just going to be not there. Um, so I mean, it's just like just let us do the 120 if we want to. If we have a 120 hertz screen, and screen tearing becomes a problem, we'll just turn it off. We'll just go to the 60 or whatever, just like how God of War's got set up. But the only thing about God of War though is even on God of War Ragnarok, it doesn't actually do 120 hertz. Like you could unlock the frame rate, but you're still only going to be doing like 80, 90, something like that. For the most part, that's pretty much what you're going to be doing. So, you're not actually going to get the 120, but it will still feel good. But with something like that, though, I mean, you're clearly not going to be having to worry about screen tearing, though. The thing you do have to worry about with that one, the reason why you would want VRR with that one, is if it bothers you, is the smoothness, right? So it's like if you have it on 60, it's a solid 60, but there's no frame pacing issues or nothing, right? But if you have it on unlocked, essentially, there are frame pacing issues, but if that doesn't really bother you, then you're fine. You know what I mean? Like you don't even have to. You don't really have to worry about. I think that guy might have been real. It's not something, if it doesn't bother you, then don't just use the mode without VR. Like, and it's not usually something that bothers me neither, to be honest. And it's not really a frame pacing issue. It's sort of like a stutter, which still essentially doesn't bother me because unless it's like really bad, then I usually don't worry about it. So if the jitter's not really bad. But I think that's the problem with God of War Ragnarok whenever you do the unlock frame rate without VRR is it just introduces a little bit of stutter, but again, well, I guess it could be considered stutter. It's basically like you turn a camera, you pan it, and then it just doesn't, you can see like sort of a stutter or judder or whatever you want to call it. But if that's not something that normally bothers you, which people like me normally don't, because of the fact that, well, most of us have played Final Fantasy, what was it, 15, I think, without updates and stuff. So even before all the updates and even before they fixed a lot of that, it's sort of one of those things where, I mean, think about it, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's still... Anyways, so I think it's funny with this game because it seems like it gives you enough overhead to still be able to do 120, but not a perfect 120. It does go 119, 121, 122, it looks like maybe. Mostly 119 or 120, it seems like. Looks like a low... yeah, see, it says 108 over there, but that doesn't make any sense considering the FPS itself is just 119, 120, 118, 120. Unless it's shooting it so fast that you can't see where it goes to like 108 or something. Because it looks like I've just seen it go down to 118, but that seems like the lowest I've seen it. Anyways, the point is it's got enough overhead to essentially do 120. But I am doing 1080p because it is a 1080p screen. So, funny enough, I'll show you something. You would think that it would actually give me better than that. It'd be more of a solid 120, and I'll show you what I mean. So when you go in here and you look at it, it says right here, depending on your TV capabilities, your display resolution could be reduced to support this mode. So if I'm already doing 100 or 1080p, what if that mode does like say 1440p? But if I have it set to 1080p, shouldn't it just kind of go down to 1080p and give you that little bit more of an overhead. Now, I don't know if it actually is doing that, mainly due to the fact that I've never seen, this game. I've never played this game on like a 1440p screen or a 4K screen at 120, so I can't tell you if, obviously on a 4K screen it's going to, go down to probably 1440p or lower, but with me being on a 1080p screen, and PlayStation does know what it's plugged into and everything, I'm kind of wondering, like, how much of a difference it would be. Like, say if I get a 1440p screen at 120, would it just drop down to like 100 FPS? And if I get one that's like 4K and it still drops down to 1440p, would it still be 100? I mean, I would say at that point it would still be, because it's like, well, if it's dropping to 1440, maybe like 1080p is like the best possible, like, outcome for the frame rate, maybe. But I'm gonna tell you, this is definitely one of the best. The monitor that I have is one of the best ones you can get for PS5, mainly due to how well it helps. How well it does with the overshoot. The overshoot is whenever you like turn or something like this, and you look at the tree or a pole or something, you see like black outline or a white outline, and it sort of looks like ghosted, that sort of thing. If it's really bad, then it doesn't have very good overshoot handling. This monitor, however, does have very good overshoot handling, because let me explain to you what I mean. So the TV that we have is an LG, and it's an IPS panel, which IPSs are pretty good because they allow you to see at a wider viewing angle, and unless you get a monitor like this, or maybe, I don't know if how many TVs would be similar to this, because this is a VA panel, and now VA normally has, higher input, but the thing is this one's got like a 1 millisecond, I think, input or something like that. So however they got it set up to where it's a really low input, and still being able to use VA panel. And well, the thing about it is VA panels normally don't have a really wide viewing angle. IPS does, and I believe TN panels do too. But normally IPS panels have like the widest, well, one of the widest viewing angles. It's usually about 178 by 178. Well, the thing about this panel is it is a VA panel, and it is 178 by 178 viewing. So it actually does do the wide viewing angles, which is really nice, because most VA panels, unless it's a, I don't know, what's that crap? Unless it's a good screen, most VA panels don't do wide viewing angles. So to show you an example of that is, if you have like a Samsung or LG TV, like a newer one, and it's not an IPS panel on a TV, look at it from the side. If it looks really washed out, or even starting to get washed out real bad, like when you start seeing that real bad washed out look, that's a VA panel. VA panels don't normally have, they can, but they don't normally have a wide viewing angle like an IPS panel. Well, the panel that I have does have a wide viewing angle, but they can fix it up to be that way, though. That's the thing. So, and I can't remember how they do it exactly, but yeah, it's actually pretty cool though, because VA panels are normally what you want, because they sort of give you like the best contrast and this, that, and the other. And here's one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to VA panels, especially in the monitor world. So, in the monitor world, with a VA panel, as long as it's got wide viewing angles, that's what you want to get. The reason why is because you see more. So basically what that means is if I have like an IPS panel and I try to calibrate it, like monitor wise, it just don't work very well, right? So it's like I can't see, it usually clips, right? It usually clips the color and contrast and all that stuff pretty bad. And then unless you're using it on like a PC or using it on a game system or something, but you're using it at full, like if you're using full instead of limited RGB range, then you should be fine. But if you do use limited, there is no calibrating it at all. It's just straight up clips it completely. Now with a VA panel like this one, you can still calibrate it. Um, so essentially, if you want to have like your say Blu-ray player, or if you do watch movies, doesn't matter if it's on YouTube, doesn't matter if it's on Netflix, doesn't matter if it's hard copy. You, you don't want to use full for none of that because yeah, it's not good. And that's the thing about it. It's not good because it looks like crap too. Because here's the thing, right? So, all movies and TV shows are recorded in a limited range. Now, you can still see past, but you can still see past, like say 230 to 235 for say contrast as an example. You can see past that even on a limited screen, but the only thing is I'm gonna have to get out of here if this is people. See ya. Wouldn't wanna be here. Anyways, so, and I've already tested this all out because I have a calibration disc, and it's Spears and Munsell HD Benchmark Second Edition. It's like one of the most accurate calibration discs you can get. And it is 1080p, which obviously I have a 1080p screen, so I don't have to get the 4K, disc. Because this one also gives you everything you need to be able to do calibration. Now, sure, you could buy, like, a calorimeter and different things, but you don't really need to. Not 100%. That's only if you want to, like, get it more or less, like, 99.9% type of deal. But even without, like, a calorimeter and different things, you can still get it basically, like, 90% of the way, So, a lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people will sit there and try to argue and say, well, it's not calibration unless you have these items. Like, no, that's not true. Because there's some people that contradict themselves and also make themselves look goofy, because they'll sit there and say, all you're doing is changing settings on the TV. Okay, if you have a calorimeter or anything, you put it close to the screen, and guess what you do? You go in, you change the same exact settings that you just sat there and said that wasn't calibrating. Just pointing out the obvious. Genius. So there's quite a few people that act like that, though. They'll sit there, you're not calibrating unless you have all the calibration stuff. No, that's not true. Because you're still going in and changing the exact same settings, whether you have that stuff or not. Duh. So, there's that. So, and not only that, but if you watch like Robert Heron as an example and some of these other professional calibrators, you'll notice where they're like, well, you can get the calibration like 90% of the way there, and all you have to do is use this and change these, and, basically just use like a calibration disc. And this, that, the other. It's like, you don't even need all this crap. So you're going to tell me they're sitting there saying one thing, the ones that actually do it for a living, versus, other people who act like they do it for a living or whatever, and just kind of, they're full of crap, essentially. And it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, So, but anyways, So with a VA panel, especially this, and the reason why I also think this is the best monitor for like PS5, even though it's not HDMI 2.0 or 2.1, I mean, it does still have a major upside to it, right? So first of all, it's got two HDMI ports, a display port, a headphone port. Now the headphone port is very important because you can plug speakers into it and actually get sound out of your game system or your Blu-ray player. Now, here's the really, really good upside to it, okay? So, the biggest upside to it is the fact that it chooses everything automatically correctly. So, if you go to your PS5, as an example, and you see where it says, like, don't change the RGB range, unless it is, like, just not correctly choosing the right one. Okay, so most TVs and most monitors that you plug in, only certain ones that actually do it correctly. But, you know, the thing is most of the time you'll plug in one of them, whether it's a monitor or TV, and it'll choose the opposite of what it actually is. Dude, you can't even see me and you're still hitting me. It makes no sense. Anyways, so yeah, on this one, however, it actually chooses the correct one. I have a Blu-ray player plugged into one HDMI and my PS5 plugged into another. And it actually chooses the right, the actual correct RGB range automatically. So I don't have the issue of having to switch that manually. Holy crap, he's cheating. That was straight aimbot, dude. Did he even freaking aim? Because he just like turned and instantly sniped. I mean, that was just an instant turn and snipe. Like, there ain't no way, dude. Look at that. It don't even matter. He don't miss nothing, dude. This guy is just cheating. He's using aimbot, obviously. I mean, you guys seen where he just like flipped around so quick it just hit a sniper shot with a, like, dude, how? Like, how in the crap did he just, you know what I mean? Like, he just, wham, sniped. Like, whatever, you cheater. Ain't no freaking way somebody's gonna be doing something like that and not be cheating. Look at that! I put freaking floor and pyramid over top of him and he still just jumped through everything. Wow! And he don't miss anything if you didn't notice. So we are definitely reporting that cheater. Okay. Actually, hang on, let me check something here. Let's see here. Report. I think this is how you spell it. I'm trying to remember correctly. Oh, look, it looks like he's on PlayStation. Huh, yep. Okay. So, anyways, you know, it's funny because people try to lie their way out of cheating on here. They're like, oh, I'm not cheating, I'm on God, no, I can't cheat, or this, that, that. They make like 50 different excuses. It's ridiculous. Anyways, so, yeah, I don't even know where the frick I was. I lost my train of thought after that crap, but, oh well. Whatever. Anyways, so yeah. I think basically the whole point between the VA and IPS panels is essentially the fact that if an IPS panel is done correctly, like the TV, like the TVs we have is an LG TV, so if it's done correctly like that, yeah, you could still calibrate it, still do limited range, but I think the biggest reason for working correctly on there is because technically TVs are made for limited range anyways. So they had to have obviously, you know, got it to work on there because otherwise it would just be sort of, you know, it's like, we really can't charge a premium for something that we can't even, you know, calibrate essentially. Because it would just be pointless to charge a premium for something you can't calibrate. It just wouldn't make any sense. Now there are certain El Cheapos that you can't really calibrate no matter what you do. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. No guns, just, okay. Wow. Nice. More shotguns. Okay. Oh, guess they just want me to have shotguns this whole match. I guess. Yeah, see, and you know, some people, they might look at Fortnite and they'd be like, well, they're not cheating. Why is it always like that? Cheating. Or this, that, or the other. It's like, it's not. The point is I see a lot of things in normal speed that most people don't. So, you know, like that guy, that last guy, when he just, you know, pulled that thing where he just, whoop, and it just sniped me. Like, that doesn't even make sense. And he's on PS5, by the way. But you're going to tell me he just whips that fast, you know, so fast where he turns so instantly and snipes and hits it? Yeah, I don't think so. Not from that range, because for one, how do you know if you're going to get a shot from it? I mean, there's no way that's a lucky shot from that range. It's like, oh, okay, so you're just like the one person that can hit all these lucky shots like that? Yeah, I don't think so. I can hit lucky shots, but I ain't going to be doing something like that, obviously. Where it's like, I'm so quick. Like, he was faster than this. And look how fast I turn. Like, that's not slow. And it was literally faster than that. Way faster. So it's like, how are you going to just snap over to somebody like that if you're not cheating? From that range and with a sniper, you're just going to snap and lock onto him like that? I don't think so. Not without cheating. Gosh. That's a real dude. It's a real boy. Yo! Dang it, Bubba. Ah, crap. See, here's the problem that I have with settings for the most part. So, like, as you can see, where I was trying to aim at him and it wouldn't give me a whole lot of this. Well, funny thing is I'm still using just the default ADS speed. So, but the thing is if I go down on this one, I can lock onto him a lot more. But I won't be able to track him very well, though. That's the problem. So, yeah, the lower you go on your ADS, the harder it is to track people. Now, I say that because, well, first of all, let's say they're flying with the, you know, the anything on here, unless they're flying around or they're using a sword or something like that, you ain't gonna keep up with all this kind of lower ADS. It ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? I don't care how far away you are. You would have to be far enough away to the point that it's just pointless. You know what I mean? To be able to track them. So you want to keep your ADS speeds at reasonable speeds. And I've found that if you go under the default, so if you go under the default of 1616, then essentially what happens is you'll be, if you're trying to track somebody, you'll essentially be behind them like this instead of actually on them. Now, if you had it on 16, you'll be able to track them a lot better to where it's like I'm on them. But on like, even if you go to like 15, it could still be behind them. But 16 seems like it's going to be the best, unless you want to go higher. But if you go higher, you're just going to get less aim assist. And default's sort of the only one that's going to give you somewhat okay aim assist. You can get better aim assist the lower you go, but then you also have the fact that it makes a lot of things harder. And then what makes it harder is if you're constantly aiming, trying to shoot people. Once they sort of get closer, you can't aim. So if you got a higher, like a fast turn, like this, like a fast, you know, X and Y sensitivity, but your aim sensitivity is real slow, it's going to really mess you up. Because you're going to be so used to just kind of going like this, aiming, and then next thing you know, it's going to go from this to, like, wait a minute. So yeah, it just, you know, it really messes you up when you're doing something like that. And I think that could be what some people's problems are on this game. And, you know, there's your, if you needed any help figuring out why, there you go. Because you got to remember, if you're aiming at people, right, and then all of a sudden somebody gets close enough that you can't aim anymore because it's too slow, then what happens? Then you got to use this. You can't aim. Well, then it's way too quick. That's really gonna mess you up. But I do need warmed up because I haven't played today. I mean, when I got on and started streaming, that's when I started playing. So, you know, when I first started this stream, that was my first game of the day. So I'm still trying to get technically warmed up. Yeah, because these settings, I'm pretty good with these settings normally. But sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes, even if you are used to settings, sometimes you don't. I mean, look at that versus the last guy that I tried to shoot. Couldn't hardly hit nothing on him. But there's also the fact that, you know, some of these cheaters can mess with the aim assist. So there's that too. Like, you could aim at one person and you know they're cheating because it's like, wait a minute, why am I not getting aim assist on this person? But yet I look at the other guy that's literally standing next to him and I get all this aim assist. It's like, funny how that works, huh? So I'm pretty sure some of the cheaters actually mess with the aim assist too. Because it does seem a little fishy where, you know, it's like, how come I can look at this guy from the exact same distance and get aim assist on him, but if I look at you, nothing. It don't seem obvious to anybody. And it doesn't sound like the game's problem, obviously. But if it's the game problem, why would it give me aim assist on one guy and not the other? Just standing right next to him. At the exact same distance. They could be the exact same distance, 5 feet from each other. No way. You got so freaking lucky. But I don't know if that guy's cheating or not, because it seemed like he might be, because he was shooting downwards and I was above him. So that does seem a bit weird. I'll go ahead and report that one, because that does seem kind of... Wait a minute, like you're looking down and I'm above your head, dude. Just saying. If I'm above somebody's head and they're shooting downwards, does that make any sense to anybody? How they're still damaging me? I'd like to point that out, you know what I mean? Like, sort of obvious that something's up. I mean, I even got headshots on him too, with a shotgun. Apparently the shotgun does less damage than the AR on top of that. That's something else I noticed. Because it's like that shotgun I had, I was shooting him in the head, okay? You're gonna tell me that's doing less damage than him aiming below me, shooting at basically the ground and doing damage to me. It does less damage than that. Think about how any of that adds up. And then you tell me, you know what I mean? Like, now, you know, that's the only reason why I reported them, though, because it seemed kind of odd. Where it's like, wait a minute, if I'm above you and you're looking down and shooting, how are you hitting me? Seems a little odd to me. And not only that, but I'd like to show you guys something too. Let me put this up here as an example. Right now it is 30 millisecond, okay? 30 milliseconds. It's usually in the 20s, but they've been having some little minor issues, but mine's usually in the 20s. But even if it's 30, you realize how low 30 is? You don't actually start lagging until you get up into, like, I think maybe the 80s and 90s. You start, like, lagging a little bit, but then once it's in the hundreds, then it's, like, real bad. But I believe it's like when you hit 80s and 90s is when you sort of start having a little bit of lag issues, but come on. 30. 30. But like I said, I'm usually in the 20s when it comes to that, so. How did that guy just get eliminated? It said like 792 meters. Like, you realize, I don't even know if there's anything high enough in this map to jump off of to do 792 meters like that. Unless he like left game, but it did. I don't think he did because it said it didn't stick the landing. Normally that means he hit the ground, so that's weird. Oh. But no, I mean, you know, I don't report everybody, but at the same time, it's like, if I see something weird, something that's like, wait a minute, how come I can't do that? I'm playing fair. So if I know if I can't do it, something's up with that, because, let me think about it, right? Like, look at the last guy. So you're telling me I can look down at the ground and shoot and just start damaging people? I mean, I'll try it. Can't promise you I won't get eliminated trying to do it, but let's see how well it works for me. There's a guy out here. Let me see how well this works for me. Let's see here. Oh, look, now I'm hitting him. But he had to literally be on the crosshair for me to hit him. I'm just pointing out the obvious, but if I'm above somebody's head and they're shooting downward, how does that work? But see, that's also my point on the whole, if I can't do it, then it's probably cheating. Because there's a lot of things you can do that anybody can friggin' do on here. But when you look at the ground and start shooting and you can't hit nobody, I'm just pointing out the obvious. You're doing, whenever somebody else can do that, you can't. You don't think that's a little fishy? Man, there's quite a few guns in here. But no shotguns. Not really. Just gray ones. No actual, like... Look, another gray one. No actual, like, green, blue, decent ones, Oh yeah, I remember. So, this the monitor that I have, like I was saying, is perfect for PS5 and stuff because of the fact that, like, when you look at the RGB limited and full rate, it chooses the correct one automatically. Now, you can't mess with it on the monitor itself, but it does choose the right one automatically. I've noticed because, like I said, I have my Blu-ray player plugged into it, my dedicated Blu-ray player, and then I have my PS5 plugged into it, so even on the Blu-ray player, it still chooses the correct one. I can tell because, well, it's not like real washed out, and it's not like crushing the blacks, so it's obviously choosing the right one. Because if it was choosing the wrong one, it would either be crushed blacks, so it'd be like really, messed up. Like if you look at like a shadowy area, it's just pretty much going to be a blob of black. And if it chooses the opposite, and vice versa, it will be like really washed out looking. So that, and then the fact that when I plug in the PS5, I can actually go in there and switch it back and forth between like the limited and full, and it actually chooses full by default on the monitor and on the PS5. Now, most of the time, you might be like, well, obviously, it's a monitor. It's supposed to be full. Okay, well, here's the thing. Go out and buy, like, a lot of these other monitors, right? It'll still choose full on the PS5 and choose limited on the freaking monitor. So, yeah, there's that. Even though the monitor it could be set to full, but weirdly enough, I don't know, it's usually vice versa. Right, so it usually don't actually match with each other. So if the monitor's set to full, it'll choose like limited, right, on the PS5, right, automatically, and then vice versa. If it's if the monitor's set to limited, it'll end up choosing like full on the PS5. It's always vice versa, weirdly enough. So. It's just one of those things where it's like, that's just how it is on there, so. But, with this monitor, however, it actually chooses full and full on the monitor itself, so it actually chooses the correct one. So it's actually pretty nice. Wow, what a douchebag. And he don't miss if you didn't notice. Look at that! Look at that, dude! He doesn't miss, even when he's flying down the freaking thing, he don't miss. It's a great aimbot. Look at that, jumping around, not missing. Come on now, you're gonna tell me that guy ain't aimbot? You don't miss. Nobody's that perfect without cheating. I got some news for you. PlayStation also. I think he's on PC though, but could be wrong. It says i7. Like, come on, that's fine. That's like a straight up PC. Nope, it says he's on PlayStation. Last online 3 months ago. But see, that's how, you know, that's one of the ways I could tell when somebody's cheating, is the fact that they're too perfect, right? So when they're sitting there and they don't miss hardly miss anything. Come on, even when you're jumping around, twisting and turning, you're not missing anything. Yeah, you're probably cheating. Now see, right there, he did that on purpose, clearly, because you know he's not going to hit shots sitting there not aiming like that. He did that on purpose because the way aimbot works is, if you don't want the anti-cheat system to pick it up, you do what he's doing right now, right? You keep shooting and not hitting shots, right? So even if you like miss a few shots, the anti-cheat system won't pick it up. That's why people like this miss shots like that, because that way the anti-cheat system doesn't pick it up, and I already messaged him and, you know, explained to him, you know, like, hey, you know, so he knows he's on live stream. So he's obviously trying to not, you know what I mean, look like he's got aimbot. I mean, that's just obvious. So you're telling me he's missed all those shots, but he couldn't miss nothing on me. Does that make any sense? But see, that's usually how it works too. Is after you message the person, all of a sudden their style and gameplay completely changes. Like all of a sudden they're not hitting everything. All of a sudden they're missing some shots, and not all of them, but some. And then sometimes they'll just go bot mode like that. Dude just went straight bot mode right there. I mean, it's kind of obvious, you know what I mean? You see, so it's like when you message somebody and let them know, like, hey, caught you cheating on live stream or this, that, or the other, they tend to, yeah. Aww. This guy, the first guy that I caught cheating, says, I'm flattered you think I'm so good, I'm cheating for real. Like, wait a minute. So if I go look at your stats, they're not going to be, like, bad? So he says, how am I cheating? You're just dogs with a cuss word in it. So let's see what his stats are, okay? And because I've got, what, almost 3,000 wins? Let's see what his is. Because a lot of these cheaters will either. Okay, let me see here. Alright, so we're going to out this guy right on live stream. Okay, see. Okay, now comparing. Oh, looky there. Let's see, gamer tag. search that one. Oh, profile is private. I wonder why he's got to hide his stats for. Because, I've said this many times before. People who hide their stats are doing it for a reason. And the only reason is you just some like super famous person, you just don't want people to see your crap. Nope, that's not it. Or you're cheating and you're manipulating your stats. So, or your stats there's like two reasons. So you're manipulating your stats to make it where you're like getting into lower KD style lobbies or something, So like they could have like a 5.0 KD on this and like a zero point 0.8 KD on this and zero point 0.8 KD on this and then like a zero point 0.7 KD on this, but have like like a 1.5 KD on this, and it's like, wait a minute. So that means you're going to be put into lobbies that's like around this instead of that. So you can manipulate your stats, but you can also, besides manipulating your stats, you can also hide the fact that you're cheating because it could show that you have like this crazy high KD. Now, when you first make an account, your KD is basically 3. So right off the rip by default, it's already a 3. So, but the thing is they could be hiding their stats because they're cheating, and that's just obvious. So now, here's the funny thing about that. Most people sit there and try to say, "Well, I don't know how to do that." It's like, dude, you literally go over to the person on the end and you turn it off manually. You have to either hide or show your stats manually. You have to do it in the game, and you have to do it yourself. So it's not an automatic thing because automatically they're on. You actually have to go in manually and change it so you can hide them. So, just so everybody understands with the whole stats thing and how I can also prove that it's obvious that I keep catching cheaters. Well, think about it this way. How come, and I'm getting into lobbies with completely different people, obviously people I don't know. How come that at least, I want to say at least 70 to 80% of them are hiding their stats? Now, what are the chances out of all the people that's playing that I happen to run into the one person in that match that has their stats set to private? What are the chances of that if they're not cheating? Because there's no reason to hide your stats. Literally. You can't even, like this guy's going, he's sitting there saying, I'm dog crap, but yet, wait a minute, I'm not hiding my stats. Why are you hiding yours? You're not famous. And the only other reason would be to cheat because you're cheating. And it can, and I've already pointed out that your stats can actually out you as a cheater. And here's another reason why. So it's like, well, think about it. He's calling me dog crap, but yet he's the one with the stats privated. I don't have my stats private. You can go look at mine. And I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed because I got a lot of freaking wins. I've got almost 3,000 wins. I've got more wins than just about anybody you probably know besides a pro player. Think about that for a second. And Kurt's the same way. You go look at his stats, and I guarantee you're going to be like, wow, these guys have a lot of freaking wins. It does not matter what period of time it took to get any of them, neither, because you have to remember, we've been on and off the game just like I've been on and off YouTube, right? So it's like, I might be on YouTube for a while, and then I'm like, whatever. Just start doing all this other stuff, and then, then I'm not on YouTube for a minute, right? But, the thing is the fact that you're just on and off sometimes, and same way with Fortnite, same way with YouTube, right? So it's sort of one of those things where it's like, if I'm not on, say, the game for a year or two, okay, so that's a year or two that I didn't get to do anything on there. You think my stats would be a lot higher at that point, right? Because if I was on there for that year or two, my stats would be even higher. But when you're on and off, that's kind of how it works. Well, anyways, the point of it is even some of them pro players, go look at Nick Merckx's settings or stats or whatever, Look at his stats as an example. And he hasn't played in a while, but the point of it is those were his stats then, right? So like he played a lot, and he put a lot of hours into it, and you can clearly see where it's like, look at how long it took him to get what he's got. It ain't like he just got it overnight. Just pointing out the obvious. So when you really pay attention, you'll notice where it's like, I'm not one of those people that have almost no wins. And I can carry myself, obviously, because if you go to look at my stats and you look at my solo wins, they kind of prove my point. See, that's how you could tell when somebody's actually good at the game, right? Because of their solo wins and stuff. So when you look at their solo versus like everything else, I mean, here's an example, because that shows your actual skill level, right? Because look at most of these people, they might have decent stats, right? But what's their solo look like? Because it's usually crap. It's usually like, 20, 30 solo wins, and then like 500 or 600 duo, 500 or 600 squad, 500 or 600 trio. It's like, well, what about the solo? Oh, I just don't like playing solo. Doesn't matter if you like playing solo. That shows your actual skill level. Because here's the thing. Here's one of the things that it actually proves. And here's part of the skill that it actually proves, okay? You're not constantly being carried by your teammates. So I could have 500 wins in duos, and that could have been somebody else that did that for me. That could have been the other teammate. I could have somebody that's super good at the game. Now, if I have 500 solo wins and 600 duo wins, 9 times out of 10, yeah, I probably got a lot of them duo wins. See, that's the point that it proves. That's the skill level that it proves. Is the fact that, one, you don't have to be carried. Two, it shows that obviously if you have a bunch of like duo wins or trio wins or squad wins, a lot of them are probably because of you. It shows your skill. So when you see people that don't have hardly any solo wins, and they have all these duo wins, all these trio wins, all these squad wins, just point out the obvious, but that's probably the other people getting most of the wins. Just pointing that out. Okay, give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So yeah. Now, some people may say that it's not accurate, but yet you can go here to your career, and if you can find everything and add up everything, it's going to come out to be the same. Ooh, excuse me. So, it's kind of funny how people try to say, because there are some people that try to sit there and do that. They're like, oh, well, they're not accurate. Oh, okay, so if they're not accurate, then how do you explain that it all adds up? See, I think the reason why some people say that it's not accurate is mainly due to the fact that they want to feel better about themselves because their stats probably look like crap. And they're the type of person that constantly lies and says, "Oh, I'm so good at the game. I've got so many wins." And then you go look at their stats and it's like, "Not according to this." And then they'll be like, "Oh no, it's not accurate." Really? Not accurate, huh? So why is it if you go to your career, add every single thing up, it all comes up to be exactly the same? I mean, I'm just saying, but if it's not accurate, how does that make sense? Everything adds up, but it doesn't. But it's not accurate. Yeah, I think it's accurate. I really do. But yeah, if you do want to look up people's stats, just go to FortniteTracker.com because they do keep track of the stats. And if you turn off your public stats on the game itself, it actually privates it on there. So essentially, the game and that is connected with each other. And obviously, it would have to be ran by somebody that has obvious permission from, Epic Games to be able to do all that. Because, well, how are you going to explain if you turn it off on the game that it privates it on there? And if you turn it back on, it makes it public again. Just saying. Like, how do you explain that one? So, I'm just pointing out the obvious, but yeah. Anyways, so yeah, don't ever let anybody say it's not accurate. They're full of crap. They probably have bad stats trying to make it look like they have good stats. Or they're cheating. Or they're manipulating their settings. Well, stats, I mean, not settings. But yeah, I keep thinking of settings for some reason. But yeah. Yeah, it's sort of one of those things where it's like, you gotta remember, cheaters are gonna obviously do things to try and hide that they're cheating. Now, how did you get a friggin' gun? You jumped through the roof and just had a gun automatically? Because the chest is still over here, dude. See? Over here. Pointing out the obvious, but there wasn't nothing upstairs. There was nothing up on that roof, and somehow you got shotguns. That makes sense. No way. You better go somewhere else, bud. Just land here. Oh. kidding me? Wow, that's an upgrade. Nice. And you know, there's a couple funny things people used to do whenever you'd catch them cheating. A couple of the excuses would be, oh, I'm doing 120 FPS, or I'm doing 160, or I'm doing 300. Okay, let me explain to you something about that. So once you hit 120, like you can see where going from 30 to 60 is obviously a difference. But then you can see that 60 to 120 is obviously a difference. But when you go from 120 to like, say 300, there's like no difference. You can't really see it. I know because I've done it myself. I used to be on PC. And when I was doing 300 FPS with graphics like basically all the way down, I still felt like I was still doing 120. It didn't really feel or look any real different. It just was basically the same. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's not what you think. Just because you can do that higher FPS doesn't mean that there's going to be a real massive difference. Like, pretty much whatsoever. Because, like I said, I've done 100. I'm doing 120 right now, obviously, but I've done 300, and I just... Even I couldn't really see much of a difference at all. I mean, if there is, it's so slight that you don't really... Because all the games are set up to do, like, a certain max. Like, with Fortnite as an example, it's maxed out at like 120, so even if you do like 300 or 400, you're still going to get the exact same latency. Because the game itself is pretty much set up to do 120. Even if it allows you to go past 120 on, like, say, PC, you're still going to essentially get the 120 latency, not the, you know, like 400. But if you're going up to 240 or something, it's still pointless. And I've tested all this myself. I mean, it's just pointless. Anything past 120 is essentially just sort of, you know, negligible. Best word for it, I think. So, as an example, like, if you look at like the power that like a game system uses, say one uses like 150 watts or something, and then the other one uses like 156, 157. It's negligible. There's no real difference. It's essentially how 120 versus like 240. Very negligible. It's just there's like almost no difference. Like I said, I was on PC. I've done 120, which I'm doing right now, obviously. I've done 240, 300, past 300. I mean, I'm just saying, but no real difference. People just, you know, make it sound like there's a real difference. It sounds like there's a real difference, sure, but there's really not. Yeah, that was one of the excuses people used to use. Oh, I got a higher FPS. Oh, whoop-de-doo. I'm doing 120, and how many people are doing 60 and still wiping me off the map, huh? Just saying. And then on top of that, people used to use this whole, well, I got really low ping. I got really low ping. And yet, again, people still wipe me off the map. So I don't think ping and FPS really matter as much as what you think. And besides, one of the best COD players, one of the best Call of Duty players in the world, literally uses the default FOV as an example, and 60 FPS. Just saying. But see, there's also the fact that technically, as an example, yeah, like with this game, sure, you can do 120, it's perfectly fine. You don't usually get any like input latency issues, even with the frame time graphs or anything like that. You don't normally get that issue because of where it's staying so close to the 120. But the thing is like if you go to 60, it's a solid 60. It just like never moves. Right, now come down, try to grab his crap so I can snipe you. Hey, I'm over here, bud. Whoopsie! Hi. Is he gonna try to come in here and take the zip line down? Yeah, he is. Yes, the heck he is. Whoopsie! Go there and take all my stuff. What was that, your teammate? Because you were right there and you didn't even try to shoot at him? Are you serious right now? That had to have been a teammate. They're probably teaming. You ain't gonna be that close to somebody for that long and not be teaming. That literally don't even make sense. Because he wasn't even trying to shoot at him. Ah, that's karma. Where are you going? Really? Just to grab a crown, huh? Alright, see you. Wait a minute. But see, I always thought that, I've always thought that that's freaking hilarious where people are like, oh, I'm just using a higher FPS. Oh, my ping is low. Mine, I got low ping. I got high FPS. So, you know, not exactly much of an excuse, is it? Excuse me. Oh. Oh, okay. Gotta basically turn around, eh? That was unexpected. Well, unexpected with correct grammar. Since everybody has to be so perfect. Alright, look at that guy flip-flopping every which way. This guy's sneaking up onto that guy. I want to see what happens. Come on, buddy. There you go. Oh. Ow. Oh, there's 3 of them up there now, eh? Ain't that some crap? Don't forget to check out that video of the cheater that I caught the other day. I put it in the comments, so it's there. Uh-oh. Wow, somebody tore it all down, huh? Are they all just gonna go like right there? Hey, I'll just sit here then. I'll just wait on them all to just smack each other. See, people need to understand, like, I'm not even just, like, I'm not camping. I'm just kind of, like, not wanting to be, you know, dumb. I know there's a bunch of people right there. Why would I run right into it? Does that make any sense? I don't care about having the most kills. The wins are where it's at. Just point out the obvious. Now, obviously, I don't camp, obviously, but there's 3 other people then. Now you know there's other people and you're worried about me. Wait, what? how the heck you shot me? What? I got a wall. Oh, this is just. Oh, dang it. I threw the one guy in the frickin' storm. Oh my gosh. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Oh my gosh. Look at this guy. Okay. Oh, you have to give me a minute. I gotta do something real fast. I know, honey. I gotta give you your rest of your medicine. Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. I know. I know. I love you too. I love you too. Okay, I'll be right back. I am back. Sorry about that. Had to give her medicine real quick. Alright, let's go ahead and get back into it. I'll probably do this match and then call it quits for now. After this match, but I will put that link of that video in the comment section after this, though. Because it essentially turns into just a normal video instead of a live stream, so it's like a live stream right now, but then once I'm done, it essentially just turns into a video. So then what happens is, once it turns into a video, you're able to like comment on it essentially. So just in case, because I already put the link in for that video on the comment section right now already, but I don't think it actually saves the comments during the live stream after the fact. So I'll put it in there again just in case. But I'll look and see if I can see it in there, and if I can't, I'll just put it in there and say the heck with it. But if I can still see it after the fact, then I might not put it in there again. It would be pointless, but you know. But yeah, go check out that video that I put in there real quick, and you'll notice that, yeah, that person is obviously cheating. Epic Games still has not done anything about it. And there's not one person that can literally say that that person's not cheating. There's no way anybody could ever say that on that video. But you gotta watch the whole video to see what I'm talking about, because, like, no joke, that person just does not take damage whatsoever. None. And on top of that, it actually shows the person from his teammate. Could I show you from the teammate's point of view, where it says that that person that's cheating is actually already eliminated, and yet they're clearly not eliminated, and they're still sitting there shooting everybody, and they are not taking damage. You couldn't even switch to them during the game, like after you get eliminated or anything. You couldn't even switch to him because of where it says he's already eliminated. So, but yeah, I mean, you really should check out that video, because yeah, that dude's definitely cheating. There is no hiding that, because I shot him in the head like what, freaking a good 5 or 6 times with a gold sniper. And then my buddy, one of my other buddies shot him. Kurt shot him, and we all shot him in the face. And you could see where it doesn't take damage, doesn't get knocked, nothing. Just sits there and just takes it. What is that? How are you doing that much damage? But yeah, you can clearly see the person is cheating. Like, there is no denying that at all. Because I show it to you from his point of view. I show it to you from their point of view. And I also show it to you from my point of view and their teammates' point of view. They literally don't take any damage at all. They got God mode on. And Epic Games still has refused to do anything about it. I mean, it's crazy. Like, they will not do anything about that cheater at all. And every day that goes by that they don't do anything, I am going to comment every single time. Every single day I'm going to comment. They still have not done anything about this cheater until they actually do something about it. Because the only way they're going to do anything is if, you know, people are like, hey, look, they're clearly not doing anything. And if they try to come onto my channel and try to say I'm lying about it, okay, prove it. Show everybody where you sent me a thing that says you did something about it. Because I guarantee you they can't even do that. Because you actually have to send somebody something before you can do that. But yeah, anyways, every single day that goes by that I notice that they do not do anything about, I'm just commenting on it. Just straight up being like, what? They're still not doing anything about it. And, you know, one of these days, maybe somebody will sue them. And, I mean, you're not going to lose, obviously. Not when you got proof like that and they're not doing anything about it. I mean, it's kind of hard to say they're doing something about it when, like, if they try to claim, oh, yeah, we take it, because they try to claim that they take it seriously and everything, but I even explained to them, what you say and what you do are two whole different things. You can sit there and say that you take it seriously, but when you're doing nothing about it, you're obviously not taking it very seriously. And that's what they do. They sit there and try to say, because if you email them or something, they'll tell you, we take it very seriously. Then when they tell you that, all you gotta do is ask them, well, why, you know, copy the link to my video on YouTube to where I show you the dude's cheating, obviously. And send that to them and tell them, okay, so explain this then. Because you guys still haven't done anything about it. You take it seriously, but this cheater's still running around and you guys ain't done nothing about it. So how do you explain that then? If you take it so seriously. Because if you email them and ask them, they will tell you. They take cheating seriously and stuff like that. And, you know, not to do it and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But you're saying that, but your actions are completely the opposite. Because I got some news for you, but you're not doing anything about cheating. You're proving the opposite of what you're saying. You cannot sit there and claim, yeah, we take it seriously. And not only that, but they sit there and claim in the freaking, like, agreements and all that crap where, yeah, we'll do something about cheating and this, that, and the other. You were just falsely advertising that. And it is false advertising because, well, obviously if you go read it, anybody can just go and read it. So I'm just pointing out the obvious, but... And if you can't read, you know, if you got somebody that can, then have them read it to you, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, they sit there and say that they will do something. You will get banned, you'll go to court, this, that, and the other, if you're banned, and you still decide to cheat, and still keep finding ways to get on, and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, I don't think they're holding up to that all 100%, obviously. I mean, this is going on like day 3 or 4 of them not doing anything about the freaking cheater that I caught on video, and you can clearly see the cheating. Just watch the video. You can clearly see he's cheating. To say that person is not cheating, you would have to be friends with them. You're probably really good friends with them. I ain't falling for that, bud. Nope. Yeah, like I didn't know you were gonna walk out the back door. Oh well, that's okay. So yeah, anyways, that's the thing about Epic Games. They don't do anything about cheating. They don't care about cheating. They get tired of people sending them reports about cheating. They get so tired of people sending them reports about cheating Here's what they've done with their support page, okay? So when you go to their support page because you're trying to get a hold of them to let them know about cheating, they've got it set up to where you have to talk to an AI first. All of a sudden. Now they have it set up to where you got to talk to an AI before you can actually send them an email. It's so stupid. It's like, none of us want AI. None of us like AI. It sucks. It's bullcrap. Nobody wants it. And yet you're still the one company that you would think they wouldn't use it is freaking using it. Now the reason why I say that is because, well, take this game even as an example. The voices are not AI. Those are actual people. Look at Uma Thurman. She's on here. That's her voice. It's not AI. When they have them people do these like big live events with the concerts and stuff, those are those people. That's not AI. I'm just pointing out the obvious, but you know, the one company you would think that wouldn't sit there and use AI is freaking using AI. And it makes zero sense. I don't care if it's on their support page or not. It's stupid. It is pointless. It is useless. It makes zero sense. Now, also, before I get off of here, I do want to let you guys know that before I start live streaming, I do check to see if they've done anything, and then I post it on the comments. Now, if they do something, I'll start the live stream so you can actually see it and see what it looks like whenever they actually do something about a cheater. So, you know, because it shouldn't be taking this long to even remotely do something about somebody cheating. Not like that, anyways. I mean, that's like that's a serious cheat right there, because they even won that match. Believe it or not, they actually won that match. I mean, for obvious reasons. Their teammate couldn't exactly be killed. So, and I'm sure we're not the only ones that reported them in, you know, that day. So it really doesn't make any sense. And we let them know that they got caught cheating. So, I mean, I'm just saying, but they are aware that there is a video and everything. So it's not as if they just found out or this, that, or the other. And, you know, with Epic Games, you would think that they would take it more seriously like they claim they do, quotation marks. And, you know, but the thing is they don't take it as serious as what they try to make it sound like they do. They really don't. Because, you know, the problem is if you took something like that serious, explain to me why there's nothing being done about the cheater that got caught days ago. Explain that one. Because, you know, and I don't mean some bullcrap excuse where I can see through all your bullcrap. You know, I'm talking like an actual why. Get to the point. Don't sit there and just make excuses. Just tell us the truth straight up. Why? Because I guarantee it's going to be, you didn't give a crap. It's exactly what the truth is. They don't care. If they cared, then why the frick ain't do that yet? And why is there still so many cheaters? You know, and I, like I said a while ago, I'm like, look, I even told Epic Games, I'm not kidding. I literally sent them the link to that video. I told them, if you cannot handle cheaters, then you might as well shut the game down, because there's no point. None of us fair players want to be in here playing against all these cheaters. You have any idea why most of us don't even do, let's see, where's it at here? Is it even, oh yeah, let's see, they're having this one come up, right, where it's like $1 million thing. Okay, you ever wonder why most of us don't even do any of this bullcrap right here? Maybe because you don't do anything about cheaters. You ever think about that? Why do we want to go into something like that knowing that there's no possible way we're going to win because there's too many cheaters? Yeah, it's pointless. Because you know that there's going to be cheaters in there, obviously, and you know that they're going to have a way better chance of winning. And then when they do, then they stop playing for a while because they just got a bunch of money, and then Epic just don't care. And then you get people like the guy I caught cheating yesterday because he was teaming up with. There was 4 people teaming up, and they were on duos. Okay, so me and my buddy's playing duos, and there's 4 of them teaming. Okay, his excuse was, "Well, it's not ranked." That doesn't make it any less cheating. Cheating is cheating. It doesn't matter if it's freaking ranked. So, it's just wild, what goes through cheaters' heads, because it's like, dude, these people are cheating and look at half the crap they're saying. Like the guy yesterday, teaming up with 2 other people, it's not ranked. That was his excuse. It's not ranked. Like he wholeheartedly admitted to cheating, because you're not going to say, well, it's not ranked if you're not cheating. You literally just admitted to teaming up with the other 2 people by saying that. You literally can't even deny it now. Because you cannot sit there and go and say it's not ranked. When somebody calls you out for cheating like that, and you're obviously teaming up with 2 other people, and somebody calls you out on it, and you're like, it's not ranked. What would anybody take that as? Would you literally take it as an admission, or would you take it as they're not admitting anything? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're admitting it, because why would you say it's not ranked? Come on now. Seriously? So yeah, the dude with the freaking, and how I knew that they were teaming is because I threw a grenade at 2 people that were shooting at me. I blew one of them up. He got knocked. Then all of a sudden, I got knocked, and there's 3 sets of footprints. And the guy that knocked me ain't even on the other dude's team. But they're sitting there not shooting at each other, not even after the fact. And then they just start doing their thing again. I'm just pointing out the obvious, but Epic does not care about cheating. That's why people keep getting away with it. And let me show you exactly why people keep getting away with it. Battle Royale, 214.2k people right now. Now, let me explain to you something. 214.2k people, right? Let me explain something to you. Half of them are cheating, at least. Knock off half of those. There goes half your freaking player base. That's why they don't care about cheating. Because they know that if they start banning all the cheaters again, they're not going to have anybody on here playing. There's not going to be nowhere near as many people playing this game. Then all you're going to have is a bunch of bots. So therefore, there's not going to be anybody going on here spending money on bullcrap like this. I mean, come on. The only reason why you guys brought out the sidekicks is because you're getting desperate. You want more money. You want people to play it, but you want more money out of it. So, I mean, here's another example. Let me see if I can find it here, if they got one in here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Shoes. Why would you do that? More money. I'm just pointing out the obvious, but you're bringing out crap that nobody cares about other than kids. You're trying to exploit kids. You're going to get yourself sued again. Epic already got sued for manipulating kids because of doing crap like that. And then they're like, we don't care, we're going to do it again? Am I missing something here? Like, really? I got a funny feeling if they don't do anything about cheating, and they keep going the same route they've been doing, and manipulating people and stuff, and kids and everything, and trying to get people to buy crap, they're eventually going to go out of business. As a whole. Because you can't, they're essentially turning into certain developers and certain companies that you can't trust anymore. Like, how well can you trust Microsoft? Because they're the ones that make Xbox. They literally got sued for the antitrust laws because they kept breaking the trust. So I'm just pointing out the obvious, but if you keep breaking somebody's trust, it's going to be extremely difficult to get their trust back, if you can even get it back at all. So if Epic's going to go down that same way, I think it's going to be a little different because they aren't like Microsoft. They don't make consoles. They don't make a whole lot of different crap outside of gaming. Like they pretty much all they do is just pretty much gaming stuff. Like not even like consoles, no PC stuff, just sort of games and software and crap like that. And that's pretty much it. So, people like me, which is the gamer, depend on trusting you guys. We can't trust you, then we don't want your crap. You get how that works. So, but once people really understand that Epic Games does not do anything about cheaters and they don't care clearly, then maybe eventually that 214.2K will go down to like 40. Not 40K, just 40. Like 40 people. Because even freaking Reload isn't even doing good. There's ranked 107.8K. There's probably not even 1 million people on altogether. I mean, even when you go through the rest of the creative, most of them look like this. 45, 57. Most of them look like that. So, I mean, like Epic Games, a message to you guys, you might want to start doing something about cheating, and you might want to make sure the game's fixed to where, there ain't some funky stuff going on. Because the less people trust you, this is what it's starting to look like. 214.2K people. I remember a time where there were millions in it at one time. Why? Because they were actually doing something. But then when they stopped doing something, all of a sudden, there's less people that want to play outside of the cheaters. So there's that. Outside of the cheaters, there's not as many people that are playing fair that actually want to play the game. I only play just to sort of, show everybody, see, like, here's what's going on. Here's what's going on with the game. They're clearly not doing anything about cheating. They're clearly not giving a crap. And people are noticing it. I mean, I love this season's characters because, you got friggin' her, Uma Thurman. You got Marty freaking McFly, for crying out loud. I mean, and some of these other characters seem like they're original, like this one, which is freaking awesome. This one seems original, but I don't know how many of them are actually crossovers other than, like, Kill Bill and Back to the Future. Like, outside of those two, I'm not sure, like, what all the other ones are crossovers. Like this guy, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if he's, like, just one of their original things, or if it's like a, crossover. So I don't know, but it seems like they are starting to do some more original things than crossovers, but that's not going to help 100% if you can't take care of cheaters and you can't fix the game to where it's not constantly broken. And it's not the performance that's broken. The performance itself is pretty decent. Like, it holds a good frame rate. It's everything else. The glitches, the cheating, this, that, and the other, and the visual glitches, and this, that, and the other. I mean, the list goes on. But anyways, hopefully you guys have a great and blessed day. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.